It's great to be with you on this Monday, and I trust you had a great Christmas. And we are looking forward to a new year. And one of the things that will help us stay encouraged in the new year is to get our focus where it ought to be. I can't help but think of Philippians chapter 2, which is the great passage on Christ coming to the earth, humbling himself, but what it says in context before that. And let me just read in verse 3 of chapter 2. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. The only reason we ever get under stress or allow ourselves to get discouraged is when we are focused on ourselves and what we want and are fearful about ourselves or are trying to desire that acceptance so that we can feel better about ourselves. So many different angles of that, and that's what causes the pressure. But we are admonished here to have the same kind of mind that was in Christ Jesus, and his mind was on us, not himself. There is great freedom when we are not focused on what we need, what we want, where we want to go, having our desires met, being encouraged by others because we need it. Instead, we need to have the opposite perspective on the needs of others, having the desire to strengthen them and build them up and sacrifice for them, and to be very sensitive to their needs and give them not the approval, but really the encouragement they need in Christ so that they can flourish in their lives. You know, at Christmas time, when you're a child, you love to get gifts. I mean, I remember for several years, I couldn't sleep at night. We always exchanged gifts on Christmas morning, and I remember for weeks wondering what kind of gifts I was going to get. My dad was very gracious in his giving. But I remember turning the corner as I got older, where I began to find more joy in giving gifts to my siblings and then later to my children than I ever got in receiving gifts. We'd be all excited for maybe about a half hour about all the gifts we got, and we'd try them all out. And then about halfway through the day, we were looking for something else to do. That's life. But when you give, there's the joy of relationship, the joy of being a blessing, the relationship that is built, and above all, you're pleasing the Lord and you're getting out of yourself. And so as we are on the verge here of a new year that will come during this week, one of the things that we need to start with is to evaluate how much of our life is really focused on self. That's where stress and anxiety and problems come. And one of the best things we can do is to truly trust God and ask him for victory over this natural innate selfishness that we have because of Adam's fall, and to ask God to give us the spiritual victory that comes by the Spirit of God's working in our life so that we can be free to love others, meet others' needs. And I promise you, if you'll do that, you'll have an encouraging year.